Welcome to episode 513 of the Recruitment Marketing and Sales Podcast. And I'm your host, Denise Oyston. And today we're continuing our series on different channels that you can use for marketing your recruitment and search company. And last time we talked about Instagram. So we're staying with Meta and we're going to talk about the Facebooks. And is Facebook relevant for you as a recruiter when it comes to marketing to both candidates and clients? So let's get into it. Welcome to the Recruitment Marketing and Sales Podcast. An obsessive focus on marketing and sales is the only way to accelerate your company growth. So listen in now as we share the latest strategies and techniques guaranteed to deliver you more placements and profits. Well, hi there everyone, this is Denise. Hope you and yours are well. And we're continuing our series on different marketing channels that can be used for the recruitment and search sector. Last week we talked about Instagram, one of the Meta family. And today I want to talk about Facebook. So being honest with you, we get asked a lot about this particular channel. Should I be on it? Is it useful? Is it worth my time? Or is it just really that personal channel that people use? And quick answer is Facebook can be used for recruitment, different types of hiring in a particular way. And for a lot of owners that we work with, it gets misunderstood on both counts. Some people write it off completely. Others miss an opportunity, others pour a lot of time into it, expecting Facebook to bring them clients, particularly from an organic perspective, which it won't always do, and it never does, because that was never its job. So what I want to do over the next, 15, 20 minutes is tell you a little bit more about Facebook, give you some of the data, then you can make that sort of informed decision. So just a quickie, if you haven't downloaded our marketing trends report, well worth doing it because it gives you some ideas on what's working currently. We touch a little bit on Facebook in there. It's a free report. You just go to superfastrecruitment.co.uk/MTRS, just imagine marketing trends, pop your name and email address in there and it will be winging its way to you. And it's a detailed read if you just want some validation on what's working now in the market. But let's just go back to Facebook and just give you some data, which may or may not surprise you. What is it? There's 8-point-something billion people on the planet, and 3 billion of those people are using Facebook every month. It's still the biggest social network in the world. And the idea that everyone has moved off it, even though your teenage children and young adults may be saying, oh, nobody uses Facebook. That is not true, as the data shows us. But anyway, let's just talk about the 3 markets that are probably relevant to you as our subscribers, the UK, the US and Australia. So around 56%, the latest data I could get on this was earlier this year, around March time, 56% of the population in the UK have a Facebook account. So that's well over 50 million people. In the US, it's a little bit higher. 7 in 10 adults use Facebook, which is obviously the market that you guys want. And down in Australia, around 65% of the population use Facebook. So this is not a small or dying audience. It's a stable platform rather than growing, but it is enormous and it's not going anywhere fast. So you'd think logically this has got to have some benefit for us and our brand, which it has. You just need to think about where it's got that benefit. Because obviously scale is not the same as relevance. A huge audience only matters if the right people are in it and you can reach them. So let's talk about who they are and what this really means for you. So Facebook and recruitment then. So when it comes to recruitment, Facebook has 2 key things going on for it, for a recruiter, and that's candidate attraction and it's brand awareness. Now, brand awareness, particularly if you are posting regularly, and if you are using paid advertising, that's where it can work for you. And being really specific, this is around candidate attraction for volume and also local hiring. It's not really a client channel from an organic perspective. Yes, you can do advertising on Facebook and get people to opt into a report. However, there are probably other channels that you can do that with that would probably work better for you. So it's not really where your business development or reach for senior hiring managers is going to happen. Really, just to explain that, because it's not an option, it's built on how the platform actually works. So on LinkedIn, people show up as professionals. They tell the platform, their job title, their company, their seniority. And we'll talk a little bit about LinkedIn ads a little bit later on as well in this series. And that is why you can target a hiring manager or a head of talent so precisely on LinkedIn. And generally on Facebook, people are not there as professionals. I think over time, Facebook is really a B2C platform. It's also incredibly political. I found myself getting locked to it sometimes as well. I tend to use it because we don't live anywhere near our families, relatively speaking. They're like 3-4 hours away. We don't see them all the time, so it's nice to catch up with what they're up to. So very much on a personal footing. And I think it's the same for a lot of other people as well. This is like a personal platform. The thing to remember is that obviously as a recruiter, you're relying on job title, seniority by company, and Facebook is not as reliable for that. You can't even target that in when it comes to advertising. The algorithm with Facebook is very clever. It's got some really amazing advanced settings now, but generally LinkedIn will be much better for that. I think the thing about Facebook that it is good at is reaching a broad or local personal life type of audience, and it's weak at a professional one. So if your goal is to get in front of candidates in a defined area, I know that some of our clients will use it for temp people if they're trying to get a group of temps. It can work really well. If your goal is to reach the client who is going to give you a retained brief, that's not going to happen through Facebook. We'll come to LinkedIn later on in the series. But one more important caveat before we move on, that really what we're talking about here is organic Facebook. Oh, I've been talking about organic Facebook here, obviously. That free posting side. Paid is a different beast, and we're going to talk about paid in one of the other episodes about marketing channels, because when you put budget behind meta ads and it is less expensive, you can build brand awareness with a far wider audience than just your own followers, and that can include potential clients, not only candidates. It won't replace LinkedIn for winning business, but it can keep your name in front of the right people. We have certain recruiters that are UK based, but they work the US market, and some of them do meta ads to improve their brand awareness, and they reach out to an American audience. So you can see how that could be different. So there's quite a bit to running meta ads, how you target and everything else. So I'm not going to talk about that today. We've got a different episode around that to give you some ideas if that's something that you want to do. Now, there is a bit of a reach problem here that we need to just sort of talk about. Excuse me, I'm just going to pause the recording and take a quick drink. My voice has got a bit strange. Apologies, no idea what happened there. So what I want to talk about reach is that people will have a company page. Yes, you can use your personal profile. You need to set it up in a slightly different way, but your Facebook strategy is around your company page that you post on. And years ago, that was amazing. It was really useful. Unfortunately, now very few people are seeing your company page because organic reach is really down. Yes, if you post on it regularly, it does help When it comes to search data, if people are searching your company, they're going to see multiple links to your Instagram account, to your Facebook account, to your LinkedIn account. So that can help. Here's some scary stats for you that's happening now. The number of your followers who actually see a post without you paying has basically collapsed. And you're looking at some crazy figures, like around less than 2% of your followers see a post. So if you built up thousands of followers, a post that you send out might just reach 10 of them, which is a bit devastating. 10 years ago, that figure was closer to 16%. And if I can be honest, 15 years ago, it was closer to 50%. So basically, it's fallen off a cliff. They want you to advertise with them. That's why that's happening. Quick pause from me before we get back into it. This podcast, as you probably worked out, has no sponsors, has no ads. Nobody pays us to record these episodes. And Sharon and I make it because we love this industry and we want to give something useful back to the people running small recruitment businesses. If you're getting value from this, here's the only thing I'll ask. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Search Denise Oyston, that's Oyston with an O, hit connect and drop me a quick note and say you found me through the podcast. I read every single message and I reply personally. There's no funnel, there's no pitch, just a chance to say hello and stay in touch. So right, let's get back to that conversation. So where there is life still, and community, building communities is a huge thing when it comes to marketing now. And you can build communities. You can build communities within Facebook and around Facebook groups. And that is different because your reach in a Facebook group, and again, you'll probably notice people will do this. They'll tag everyone in the group or they'll tag followers. And what it does is it blasts your group post out to everybody. So by doing that, if you do have a Facebook group, then you can reach anywhere between sort of 15-40% of members per post. So that's a lot more than your company page. And Meta does actually favor groups because people opt in and they engage there. I'm in several sort of, I would say, personal style groups at the moment. We're doing the garden, so I'm in several gardening groups and they're very useful. But I'm not in any business groups, but a lot of people are in business groups. So that is something that is probably worth considering because, so if you imagine like a niche local job seeker group or a sector specific community group will do a lot more for you organically than your company page ever will. Now, I'm not saying do not have a company page because I think it's all about professionalism. And if people see that you've got a company page, and obviously you cannot do paid advertising unless you have a company page. So it's just thinking about that. Because I know the instinct for many people is to get your company page and post jobs on it. And really that is quite weak unless you're going to do paid advertising around that. So let's get practical. And where does Facebook really, where does it work? And I think the two things to consider, and this may, as you're listening to this, you may decide, well, it's not really for us. When you're hiring depends on candidate volume or you're in a specific geography. So you're thinking very similar to Instagram, hospitality, industrial, warehousing, driving jobs, admin jobs, trade jobs, roles where you need a good flow of local applicants and where those candidates are living their lives on Facebook, maybe in a local group for that kind of hiring. Facebook's local reach and low cost, pretty hard to beat. And we're going to come on to paid advertising as well, but if you're in a group, again, that can make a huge difference. We're in several, when we moved over to the west of Cumbria, we're in several groups and they get a lot of traction where people are saying, oh, I need someone to do this for me, or I'm hiring, I need this. And you can see how many views the videos are getting and things like that. So you can see it does really make sense. Now, where does it fall down? Obviously, those senior roles, exec search, maybe specialty tech roles, professional service placements, anything where it's a more senior role and it's very specific. Those people are much easier to reach out to on LinkedIn or through real sort of niche channels. Now, I am going to talk more about paid advertising and Meta in another podcast, but let me give you a real life example. And this is we have some of our own clients that work in the hospitality sector where this has worked really well for them. But this particular example is from a US tech staffing company, and they have a case study around how they did this. Basically, they wanted more applications for the roles they were filling, and they used an element of paid and organic. So instead of just relying on their page, they ran a very targeted local campaign focused on people in their ideal avatar group within about a 50-mile radius, and they used job-related search terms. They backed it with consistent content. And the result over a year was basically well over 80% increase in job applications. They nearly doubled them. And the follower numbers obviously went up sharply too. Website traffic rose. Again, just think about this. They used a paid campaign and they did local, targeted, consistent content. Now, I know for our subscribers, we have subscribers in every single niche imaginable, and we do have people that do temp workers as well and local. And this may be something that you want to consider when it comes to Facebook and paid advertising. So that's really in a nutshell how and where Facebook you need to consider it. So let's just say you've listened to this and thought, yes, the hiring guide fits. Here's what works on the data, not guesswork. So I think the first thing is lead with groups, not your page. Obviously, make sure you do have a page and you post on it. Very easy to do that. Very easy to automate that. Get active in niche and local groups where your candidates already are. Build one. It doesn't take a lot to build one if that's something that you want to do. And this is where organic reach really starts to live now. So use videos. Videos work really well on Facebook. Obviously, you want captions on your videos. They get the highest reach on the platform. And many people watch with the sound off, so just make sure that they're watching on the phones. I know I do this all the time if I'm Sharon calls it doom scrolling. I'm generally looking at various dogs and comedians, but I'm often reading the captions. So you just need to make sure that you have captions. Lots of places can do this for you. Lots of software can do it quite inexpensively. We use a couple of different platforms, one of which is called Splashio, which is great. Another one is Descript that you can use, and they're pretty inexpensive. So just think about this. This is, yes, it is a free platform, but your organic activity really does need to be paired with some paid budget, even just £5-10 a day, dollars a day. And just think about going hyper local if you've got volume roles. So you target by area and by interest, and that's how that actually worked in the example that I gave you from the US. So there are mistakes that you can make, obviously, and that is just relying on your page as your main channel, wondering nothing's happening, posting once in a blue moon, and expecting reach. If you think that senior decision makers will be looking on your company page, I very much doubt it. It was never built to target in that way. So these are things to consider. Now, if you decide it's right for you, let me leave you with a few questions just to see whether it deserves your time this year. Number one, does my hiring depend more on candidate volume in a specific area than on reaching senior client decision makers? And it's interesting because we were on a coaching call this morning with one of our lovely clients in the south of England. And he was talking about how he needs to be really working with his candidates more. And that will be something for him to do, is to do some Facebook advertising, because his candidates are there in that market that actually elevates his brand as someone that they could work with. So that would be where I'd say, is it worth a look? We're going to come on and talk about paid advertising in the future, but have you got a small budget and some content that you can share? Organic only is not really going to work specifically unless you're in groups. And then it's obviously, what's your priority at the moment? Some people are very candidate focused, other people want more clients. And so if your priority is hiring managers, senior clients, then another channel will be better for you. So Facebook then, huge, stable audience, great candidate attraction, brand awareness channel. Organic on its own is not going to do much for you. Posting in groups can help you. So meta ads are something to consider, which we'll talk about a bit later on. So we've talked about Facebook. Next week, we're going to dive into LinkedIn. And that will be something that obviously everyone, LinkedIn's obviously for us. LinkedIn has changed a lot. Reach is really down on LinkedIn. However, you just need to get smart with how you use it. So thanks for listening. Before you go, quick thing, working out which channels are right for your business and then getting the content produced consistently is exactly how we help our clients in Superfast Circle. We have a whole process that they can follow. And we have just updated Superfast Circle with our new Catalyst system. We have multiple campaigns in there written for you that you can use. And if that's the kind of support that you've been looking for to really kickstart the end of this year, then just drop us an email. If you're on our subscriber list, many of you are, just reply to some of the emails that you get from us. Or just go and book a call directly, a quick call, and we can explain more. Or just send us an email and say, look, tell me about the new Superfast Circle, and we'll send you a link, and you can download the information that I think you'll find useful. So this is Denise saying bye for now, and I'll see you next time. Before we sign off, I want to share something with you. We have completely redesigned Superfast Circle. This is not a refresh. It's not a few new slides. We've rebuilt it from the ground up to be the most commercially focused program we have ever created. And you still get all the content resources, you get all the frameworks, you get all the Canva tools, and you get all the AI prompts, and everything we have built over 18 years of working with exclusively recruitment businesses. But now you also get more one-to-one time with Sharon and I directly. We are in it with you, and we back it with a guarantee. If you are in the program and you've not seen a return on your investment, we'll carry on working with you one-to-one until you do. Now, if you want the details, just email support@superfastrecruitment.co.uk. Tell us you heard this on the podcast, and we'll send you all the details of what's included in the program, the investment, and all of the things that you need. So this is Denise saying bye for now, and I'll see you next time.